time for a little Funky Friday. From their funky hidden headquarters, your hosts, Keith and Gerry. Not Gerry.
Thank you, Tom. I don't know where Keith is.
Oh, me neither. But he told me
He's on Keith time. I'm on Keith time, motherfucker. So, you know how that goes.
If we had a nickel for every time Mick Jagger said that before a show.
Oh, Keith, yeah. Wait, no, that was the Who. They had Keith.
Stones have Keith Richards.
Oh, Keith, yeah.
Yeah, notoriously unreliable. He showed up at the last, like, with 1 minute to spare for every Rolling Stone show since, like, 1966.
Yeah. So, anyway, happy Friday, everybody. End of the week for most people who work 9 to 5 jobs Monday through Friday. For those of you that work Tuesday through Saturday, okay. So Lord Thoth was here early, so all hail Lord Thoth. Of course, our dear friend Don Ranger Power is here. Andy Morrow is here.
Deleted Scenes is here.
See, the love of my life, Anima Confusa, is here. Our good friend Deleted Scenes, who I think is working right now, that's why he's not joining us. And that's it. Yeah, that's all that's here right now. So we have 13 watching. What?
So I'm sorry, I was gonna say I don't know when it was from, but you know, like I put on my assistant, Critical Drinker, and when all of a sudden I heard him reading a super chat from Deleted.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Deleted floats around. He's kind of the whore in our group. He sleeps with him.
Oh, come on.
He's got my herpes. Watch out.
I love Deleted, man. He's a good guy. We've been friends for a while, man. You and me, Steven.
Very nice
I always
guy.
give him a ration of shit. Like when he gets a haircut, I tell him he looks like an old lesbian. But then again, when I get a haircut, I look like an old lesbian too. What's this? Everyone is well. 3rd anniversary of Power Rangers Dino Fury. Awesome. Despite the by the way, I'm friends with Patrick Parent, who is one of the lead animators for that show.
Hello, Andy.
I've tried to get him on.
Hello, everyone.
I should try to get him on here again.
We salute you, Deleted Scenes.
Because Patrick and I go back almost 30 years. And he worked with me on the Blade Runner fan club. And he's a huge Blade Runner fan.
Yeah, I would love to have any role in Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. It's like, my name's Deckard. I turned on
it's
my
like I kind of wanted to do what Tom and I used to do with others, where we do a reading of like a script from a movie that was never shot, like the Batman movie that was written like in the late 70s and early 80s, never got shot. It's pretty bad. I mean, there's some good stuff in there. You can see that transferred over to the final film that came out in '89, but it was some of the dialogue was really corny. But it was fun doing that shit, and stuff happens, people don't get along, and so it stopped happening. But it's something I want to do again, and for this one, we'll be doing Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, the graphic novel. 24 chapters. Thanks for joining us after we start, Keith. Well done.
Hey, don't talk to kids like that.
I'm his friend. I can say whatever the fuck I want.
And I'm his
He'll tell me when to
guardian.
shut the fuck up. Keith, right? You'll tell me when to shut the fuck up, right?
Oh, yeah.
No one speaks to machine that way.
I don't want to know.
No, but
I don't want to know.
Machine that way. Yeah, I like that. The Machine. If you've never heard that fucking story, you're missing the best in life, like Arnold.
I laughed harder like 2 hours later. You know what I mean? Like I giggled through the whole thing, but then like an hour later, like it started to hit me.
Sorry, my mic died for a second there. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, your mic has been reborn.
I'm just gonna
It's a Phoenix mic.
That's right. That's why it's got no booty anymore. It used to have a lot more booty.
Baby's got bass. Now you get the notice. Okay, I see that.
Press F for Rogue's butt, guys.
Hello, Saber the Doom Squirrel. Hail.
And this Andy saying something that is happening to me from 1 or 2 weeks now. YouTube is just recommending things from 2 years back.
Okay. I'll save that for another time, but I will do this one.
And I think it is so fantastic.
Yeah, great story.
Disclosure freedom.
Man, that hurt him. You know, you don't get to say shit like that in a country with liberty. Phoenix mic or unicorn vomit mic like Teagues? What the fuck?
Because the colors of his mic.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Oh my god, now I get it. Okay.
No one understands. Hold on.
Oh, it changes. I thought there were. Look at that.
My mic has several different ways it identifies. Right now, it's identifying this way, and then its orientation could change, and you don't have any right to tell it it's wrong. So yeah, that's the joke there, people. That's the visual component that was lacking. I'm here all week. Actually, I'm here on Fridays.
Woohoo!
Keith, are you as excited as I am about? I mean, I know you're as excited as I am, and thank you so much for coming on my show when the news broke that this might happen. This is the longest sustained period of hope for Star Trek fans in 17 years. If this deal has not unhappened, signs are still good.
I think it'll happen because the logic is that it's definitely something that Warner Brothers can afford if they're only just buying Star Trek. But there is an aspect of this that is kind of sad at the same time. And, I mean, if we're going to talk about this, if this is going to be the subject that we're going to handle it right now, I can tell you what that is. Because there's a good news, bad news portion of this. You know, the good news obviously is Star Trek can come back. And that we're finally going to be able to have something that we can actually watch and get back to quality storytelling as well as quality characters.
Here. We'll use the old ways.
But
we'll have a crew where if just one person's in jeopardy, we'll be just as excited, right? When the Packwood's
let's break it down here, though, guys. Keith. First of all, we're talking about the Doomcock video that dropped yesterday.
Well, no. This is the Doomcock video that dropped a day or two ago.
Right, there's two now.
Right, the one that showed Spock
and Michael Burnham. This
or
is the
Kirk
second.
And Michael Burnham.
Yeah,
and this time it's Spock and Michael Burnham.
Yeah, this is the second of two videos, and it was the update information that he put out.
And thank you, Doomcock.
The updated,
I told him he shared the show link out last night when I talked about it, that we'd be talking about him today and what he talked about.
And again, as said before, I want to thank Doomcock because he has given hope to a lot of people. The amazing portion of this is the fact that I hope that ultimately this can slap Disney awake to the fact that this is going to be something kind of cool, because if Disney does not properly respond, if they decide to continue to go down the road that it looks like Iger's going to continue to go down with this stuff, basically, for the first time in a long time, Star Trek might have an opportunity to just outdo all the other properties.
Oh my gosh! If we clean off the new Trek people, Quentin Tarantino will reapproach.
Not just Quentin Tarantino, though. I mean, I think I was saying it when I was on your show. This will be an opportunity to even have people who have been longtime Trek fans to approach. There will be people and things that you could do with Star Trek that Kurtzman never considered, and for whatever reason, back when Rick Berman was running things, he never got around to. One of them is Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is a longtime Trek fan, who had tried to get in with Star Trek The Next Generation when it was on the air.
That would have been amazing.
And for whatever reason, they couldn't make it work out. To have him make an appearance on any Trek show would be great.
That would be great.
Preferably something that actually made sense and that people were actually watching. But as I said, there is
Matrix.
there is a downside. And I think I was talking about this with Gerry. And I think a lot of people need to understand what the downside is, which is if Warner Brothers is ready to drop a whole lot of money, and trust me, they're still going to get charged quite a bit for Star Trek. If they're going to invest all of this, almost automatically what that means is Babylon 5 is dead.
Oh,
that's it. Yes.
I don't know, but I would say this.
Yes.
We do think that J. Michael Straczynski would have a role in a new Star Trek if it was done right. But he should have
that's what we also talked about is there's a good chance because he's a big fan.
He is a big fan. If Zaslav were to approach J. Michael Straczynski first and say, look, I know we've been negotiating for a reboot of Babylon 5.
Wouldn't you rather it be Star Trek? And he'll say yes.
Well, if he's done his homework, he'll approach him and said, look, I'm aware that you once pitched a brand new Star Trek universe, a way of approaching Star Trek that was different than what we had done before. And I would be willing to listen to your pitch and see if we could pursue that. If that's the way he goes about it, I think JMS might consider it, which would then make it possible for us to have the opportunity to soar even higher than we ever did before, even just with Berman, because I still think overall JMS is still a better showrunner and really
very
creative.
Consistent.
Yeah, he is very consistent. Now, I give Berman credit though for knowing how to manage talent that he has under him. He's not as the thing about JMS is that JMS tried to make sure that almost every script, and Roddenberry did the same thing, tried to make sure every script he had at least some sort of a hand in, which delayed a lot of things. There were delays sometimes in the production of Star Trek when Roddenberry was the showrunner. And it created delays with even Babylon 5, although slight delays.
That's why I want him as like a script, like doing about half the story, like a political side to it, and then let someone explore in traditional Star Trek manner. So like if we had, let's say it streams, which would be the worst case to me. Like I would want a real movie or a real TV show with 22 episodes or something. But let's say it streams. If we do 10 episodes, right? Just to get ratios here, for 10 episodes, 3 mostly political ones, 7 like action and adventure of like going to different planets, and nothing really much more of a through line than the space politics, space politics, not identity.
Yes.
Hey, who sent an invite to Michael Douglas?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you, my friend?
I'm at my new place and waiting for both the furniture delivery and the internet people to come hook it up before I move in tomorrow. So figured
It
I'd
has
call
that
and say
new.
hi.
It has that new place eggshell white paint. You gonna try to throw some paint up there, or just gonna put up the championship banner of your team?
Well,
Yeah,
wait.
Stuff.
You're moving in with someone else, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, then she'll decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how that works. She's already made those decisions. So
Yep. You are no longer in charge of that. You're just
Nope.
in charge of showing up and saying, I'm here.
Yeah.
I exist in this place.
Yes, dear.
Yeah. It's like that now.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, man.
It has its perks.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
This is good news. And if you are a Trek fan, this is really good news. This is definitely something that this is definitely something that a lot of fans have waited for. And if you're one of those younger fans who was not a fan when Rick Berman at least was running things, get set for some very entertaining episodes that actually make sense. I have a beginning, middle, and end, character development, and most importantly, some merchandising that you'll be able to get your hands on that are durable and long-lasting, and people outside of the fandom can actually appreciate and understand. And it's just going to be good. I hope that in the end, something can definitely be worked out with JMS, because I do feel bad about it. I'm a Babylon 5 fan as well. And J. Michael Straczynski he's an OG Star Trek fan, which is one of the things about Babylon 5, that he tried to run Babylon 5 like OG Star Trek and not like Rick Berman Star Trek. And I will say that if anything, I hope that JMS, once everything really gets going, I hope that either he is one of the creative hearts of Star Trek, or that he's a part of this new thing. If for anything else, if someone else is approached to become the new creative head, that Harlan will still sign up. I mean, not Harlan, but JMS will sign up to become the new Harlan Ellison of Star Trek, meaning that one of the tricks that JMS did that I think is one of the best things that every science fiction series should do from here on out is have a quality control person. Now, technically, that's what a showrunner is.
Okay.
What is that?
Somebody's getting dumber. What I mean by a quality control person is that when J. Michael Straczynski put together his staff for Babylon 5, he made sure to include a position for someone of note who is a science fiction author who knows what they're doing to help guide the rest of the staff, to keep them on track. And that was Harlan Ellison's job. He made room for Harlan Ellison to become the quality control person, or at least the additional voice in the room of experience. That way he could continue to have his staff, because and the thing about it is it actually makes sense in so much as that, as I have been saying and reminding fans, one of the aspects of Star Trek that while there are other shows that have come along, other writing staffs, one of the things that a lot of other shows has not replicated is the number of people that they had writing for that show that were actually science fiction authors.
Yep.
Both before the show started and many of them who would go on to write definitive works of science fiction even after Star Trek was off the air. Many of them.
Let me add some 2 cents here on this
Yeah.
one, because this is something that was established by our early pioneers of good science fiction on television. It was
Yes.
Gene Roddenberry and Rod Serling. And Rod Serling sought out the best published science fiction writers that were out there. They weren't looking for activists. They were looking for people with solid foundation in writing science fiction.
Who also had some experience in television.
And that's who they hired.
Yep.
Even sometimes to the detriment of the show or to people's, stress levels. Because we all know what Harlan Ellison did on Star Trek. Driving people crazy.
Broke Gene Roddenberry's brain and got banned from the set of City on the Edge of Forever. I believe over the amount of grandiosity given to the scene where they chase Kirk and Spock to the mission, he wanted thousands of people, and they were trying to explain to him, like, we have like 100 or like 60 extras here. This is a big shoot. This is a big, movie lot. It's going to look fine. We know what they're doing. And they couldn't reason with the guy. It was what William Shatner said in the book Captain's Log.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, you could look at what Shatner had written in his book, or you could also look at the book Inside Star Trek, or Star Trek: The Inside Story, I should say. And both books detail a lot about that issue. But that's my hope.
He was probably too young, right? He couldn't surrender enough control to be a good TV producer.
He is also a little touched in the head.
Yeah,
he's talented and not
that's
be
why
crazy.
That's why there's no Philip K. Dick Star Trek episode, or we'd have like 2 if he wasn't completely insane. And Gene Roddenberry knew from crazy people on
How's
drugs.
that lithium working, Phil? Is it helping yet?
It's like Maggio and I were over at Philip K. Dick's house last weekend. There's no way he's coming in here to write a
Let
script.
me tell you something about Philip K. Dick. Hampton Fancher and David Peoples were sent to go talk to him. He didn't know who the fuck they were and greeted them with a shotgun.
Yeah, he was like Hunter S. Thompson
They shut up
that way.
in his place. Yeah. True story.
Yeah, there's no working with him. I also feel like most of his stories feel like a movie pitch, but no one ever makes their movie according to the book. I don't get that strange contradiction. So that's my only thought on that.
Well, it's the
Blade Runner is one of the closest, and it left so much on the floor.
Which one?
Story.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. It really got some great elements in there. From
Total
Blade
Recall is a half-hour TV show, right? Maybe an hour. You could get an hour out of Total
Well,
Recall.
all the way up to a certain point, it's the short story, because it is
much
a short
different.
story.
There's a much different surprise in the end of Total Recall, the story, than there is in either Total Recall movie, which are both almost completely unrelated to the book. After about 10 minutes, each of them are meandering our own path.
Exactly. And Shinansky, yes, exactly. Right there. PKD. Kirk isn't sure if the Enterprise is real. He's actually Space Jesus.
Kirk's not Space Jesus. William Shatner, astronaut, is Space Jesus.
And he's Jewish.
And here's the thing.
So is Jesus.
Warner Brothers will be controlling Star Trek, which means William Shatner will become the focus of all future Star Trek related whatever. No more.
Could you imagine that voiceover, Keith? Could you imagine the voiceover before the first episode of new Star Trek? Space.
Wow.
Final frontier. Wow. Just one more time. Just one more time.
It will be possible to actually have again good, well balanced, well written episodes that are, wait for it, intelligent, as far
Mostly
as
makes sense.
Yes.
Their tech level will be above ours, not below it like it is sometimes.
And not writing in opportunities to express, for turning it into therapy sessions for the characters.
Right.
Where there's a lot of crying every episode.
Well,
And,
at least I hope they keep scenes with them eating.
yeah, making sure the captain's quarters includes a well-stocked kitchen and a fireplace.
You know what?
I do want to say hello to some folks here that have jumped in. We've got Kingsport Cal has joined us. E. Clay Thomason. Flip City Magazine is here watching us. That's Kitty. I'm going to bet it's Kitty. Read by Nature and Dad Man Walking. I just talked to Kitty and said I really feel like coming back on the show and just hanging out with her for a bit. She's fun. She has a lot of fun. And of course, our dear friend Dad Man Walking is here too. So I hope everybody's having a good week. Kingsport Cal, good to see you, dude. Reed, always good to see you. And of course, Clay, man, we love you, brother. And Saber Doom Squirrel is, of course, a new friend to this channel. I'm hoping that they do click to follow, subscribe, and all that shit. And maybe even consider becoming a member to help support the stupid shit we do. Almost on a daily basis. I mean, we don't do Sundays, and but we do every other day of the week. Yeah. So we're 6 days a week. We got something going on here. 2 days a week, it's just, or 3 days a week, it's John and me gaming. 2 days of you gaming in the evening, and then me gaming. Or do you do Wednesdays too?
Yeah, Wednesday and Friday.
Oh, Wednesday and Friday after the show. Okay, so man, we do a lot. I love gaming, but I am going to be doing the new, the new Wish RoboCop game. I started playing it. I'm going to start it over just for folks to watch. But I wanted to try it out, and I'm like, holy shit, this is a fun game. What's it called?
Delta City.
RoboCop Delta City. Is that the name of it?
Yes, you're in Delta City. I love when you take the thugs by the neck, by their throat, and you use them as human shields, and then throw their corpse. It's awesome.
I've only done that once. And I was like, oh, holy shit, I can do that. That's awesome. But I like picking up objects and throwing them at them.
I'm playing the Superior Robot game, and that's Detroit Become Human.
That's anti-human propaganda.
And I think it is so fantastic.
There we go.
Screw your video.
My wife won't understand why I can't sell drips anymore.
I got that video today because Anima, whenever she says fantastic, she says it exactly the same way as Arnold. So I put that video up there just for her. I got that one for her and this one.
Moist.
I think you want to read. I think you want to read Chinatsky's comment, though.
Come on, dude. By the way, hello, Dragon Roost.
Is it anybody's birthday this week?
Michael Caine, yesterday, 91.
Yeah, we were supposed to do a show last night, but my allergies were kicking my ass, so we bumped it to next week.
Yeah,
doing the Michael Caine special.
Well, I know that going into next week, I mean, that's March 22nd, which is supposed to be the day that they're looking at having the William Shatner documentary come out. Well, that's Shatner's birthday, and he'll be 93 next week.
God bless him. Long live William Shatner, the greatest actor of television history, honestly. Success in every decade.
He is Star Trek. He is the living embodiment of it, and it'll be great to have Star Trek Day and have official posters that have Shatner front and center, the way it's always should have been, to talk about and celebrate Star Trek as a whole every single September.
Thank you. Yeah, here. I love the fan images better for the last few years because the fans have been keeping Shatner in there, and there's some really beautifully rendered fan art.
Well, that's John.
Uh-oh.
So is anybody else
I think
having
he's on a cell phone hotspot, so he might just need to
Kingsport Cal is on the 25th. He'll be 42. So
Happy
here's
birthday. It's Jackie Robinson Day for you.
here's a happy birthday for you.
Happy fucking birthday!
Okay.
That's Sly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking Sly. I found that and I'm like, fuck, that's my new birthday thing. Leslie
Wow.
Nelson in Detroit, Become Human is a funny video. I don't know. I don't think I know
Oh,
that.
is that from a channel that injects real people in video game cutscenes? And man, it's very funny. Yes, it is. I've seen that.
I've not. I
Well,
Doctor,
Yes,
Doctor
it is.
Detroit.
That was weird. Yeah, a little bit.
Here, this is for your birthday. And that goes out to anybody with a birthday in the next few days before next Friday.
Sorry, I dropped out. I'm on my phone, so it's
Yeah, I know you're terrible with technology.
He has no internet yet. He's really good with technology to get anything jumped off that at all, to be honest with you. Maybe
Well
go
done,
Avatar
Boomer.
might save some memory. Just a thought.
Well done, Boomer.
Oh my
Oh
god.
God, if he's a boomer, what am I?
Yeah, I know. I'm older than him, so
I was born in the Scottish Highlands in 1353.
that can be only one. So Keith, let's get back on track.
yes.
So, if the floodgates get open, what's going to happen?
Floodgates. Well, first and foremost, if Warner Brothers does their due diligence and just goes to seek out Star Trek related writers, I think one of the people that they should just go and get almost immediately should be, as I said before, not only just JMS. They should just go after every Star Trek writer who has not been allowed or for whatever reason turned down the opportunity to work for Kurtzman Trek over the years. I think first at the top of the list, they should just go for the co-creator of Discovery, who is oh man. I can see his face in my head. Trying to remember.
Only
his
there
name.
was internet or something.
Oh, well, that would work. That would be
It's a hell of a thing getting old.
it is
Oh, you're telling me?
Brian Fuller. They should go for Brian
Oh,
Fuller.
Brian
first and
Fuller.
foremost.
Okay.
Because Brian Fuller, I think, has a lot of really good ideas, including the original idea that he had pitched, which was making an anthology series, which I think would be the best way to go. No more of this. Let's just do whole TV series where we go backwards. And if he does that, if he continues to create stuff that goes forward, I think they have a really good opportunity to attract other Star Trek writers, even though they might be doing something different. And that's the important thing. You want to attract as much talent as possible. And I think on that list of people should be Ronald D. Moore. I think you can get Ronald D. Moore. Now, I don't think you can get him to showrun. People have stated in recently, well, Ronald D. Moore should be showrunning. Ronald D. Moore is busy. But you could probably get him to at least write an episode.
He may not be busy coming up, though. Man, this latest season of For All Mankind. Ooh.
Well, I still think that unless you were giving him full control, I don't think Ronald D. Moore would ever really spend time to come back to work Star Trek in that way. Plus, Brian Fuller is someone who's never been given an opportunity to run Star Trek. Remember, he was the showrunner in 2016 during San Diego Comic-Con and then got fired almost 2 weeks after he appeared at San Diego Comic-Con. Discovery didn't
Alex
even...
Kurtzman got all he wanted out of him and then kicked him to the curb.
Yeah, he took all that stuff he created because Kurtzman wasn't really a part of it originally. Kurtzman was brought in after the fact. What it was that Fuller was in full control. There was no co-creator of Discovery. It was all just Brian Fuller. And then Les Moonves brought in Alex Kurtzman after getting rid of Fuller. Kurtzman took over, and he took the show Bible. He took all the episodes that had been written up to that point and magically rewrote it all himself, which is the reason why it made no darn sense. And for those that have actually read the original outline for Discovery, yeah, you should cry because it was way better than what you actually got, including the pilot episode, which made a whole lot more sense than the pilot that Kurtzman actually ended up rewriting and infusing with his sensibilities.
We probably would have gotten a much better take on Pike.
Oh, you would have gotten
as an actual leader.
You would have gotten a much.
I wonder
on Michael Burnham.
I think that Gene Roddenberry made fundamental mistakes writing Captain Pike that he did not repeat with Captain Kirk, because Captain Kirk isn't sick of his job and doesn't want to be a trader of involuntary workers of a physical nature, like Captain Pike's weird fantasy life was. Captain Pike had some issues. Captain Kirk doesn't leave the other people behind in the menagerie. He's like, wait a minute, you've just figured out right now from us that you shouldn't keep people as pets. You're going to let that Birdman and the other freaks in that menagerie go too. You know, stuff that isn't in, you know what I mean? That stuff in the cage. It's just like, I think that maybe the new Trek writers loved Pike because of the problems with him. I don't think he was right. They were ready. I think Gene Roddenberry might have made a couple mistakes. And he had moved on in his heart before anyone saw that to talk about developing a different and better Star Trek. That was the purpose of the meeting for which they completed it. And I don't think Gene Roddenberry believed in Jeff Hunter by the end. That's me.
Well, I think Star Trek overall really and truly flourished and became something truly viable when Gene L. Kuhn started to take more of a lead in the types of writings that he would do, and was fighting for certain things that would help to truly define Star Trek as something that is worth your time. Because he wrote
mid-20th century writers' room geared towards success, where people kept their egos more or less in check. It was an insanely great thing. So much good TV came of it.
Well, Gene L. Kuhn was a real science fiction talent. He was a writer, producer who was an actual fan of the genre of science fiction, and he had a very balanced way of presenting things. It was he that came up with the idea of the Klingons. It was he that came up with really a majority of what Alex Kurtzman and his producers hated about Star Trek. What they wanted to change, a majority of it was all the stuff that Gene L. Kuhn created.
That may have been because Rod Roddenberry had a more secure grasp financially on it, and because of legal reasons. Because I do not believe that those guys ever functioned as creative. So, like, how do we legally complicate Star Trek?
Yeah, their names get thrown in, but I don't think they have much control over anything.
The first thing they did was find a way to make a show so terrible that they were allowed to use characters that they were specifically told they couldn't use in the second season just to save the first show. I mean, come on, we were never supposed to see the Enterprise crew.
You know what? I think
they say.
I think a lot of that initially was just you know, when you have people that have not done any work in actually understanding Star Trek and not having done any research in it, then the biggest complaints are, how come you can't have conflict? How come you can't have people fighting on the bridge? How come you can't? All of the stuff that Gene L. Coon took out of Star Trek. You know, he brought in a balanced view of everything. You know,
Right.
everything that Gene L. Coon created added immensely to what Star Trek was. It helped to truly define Star Trek. There's a lot of stuff that Gene Roddenberry is given credit for that Gene L. Coon was the one that actually created it.
I guess what we have to say is Gene didn't stand in the way of this, sabotage it, or act like a child. Because
That's
today, if we put someone with Gene L. Coon's talent in there and we gave them every single quality that they needed to be allowed to be in that writer's room, and they wrote a story that good, and it just was happened to be, you know, along the lines of original Star Trek, it would be sabotaged and destroyed. So Gene Roddenberry, you know, but when I say he didn't have an ego, like, again, he had a functioning 20th century ego. It's like, I'm gonna, you know what, throwing a temper tantrum is not gonna put money on the put food in the fridge.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was smart enough to allow Gene L. Coon to continue to do what he was doing, and the two of them, even after both left the show, once Star Trek was off the air, they would end up reuniting and working together up until Gene Coon's death in the 1970s. Gene L. Coon would continue to work on many of the ideas and pilots that Gene Roddenberry was working on in the 1970s. And I think what it was that Roddenberry recognized Gene L. Coon's talents. That he brought he was the one that brought a kind of reality and balance to what Roddenberry was able to create, and kept him grounded in that sense, which was necessary.
And then if you really are lucky, you got DC Fontana's script being tweaked by Gene L. Coon, and you get some of the greatest Star Trek.
Yeah, well, that's really what you should do. If you're going to put together new Trek at Warner Brothers, remember, Warner Brothers is not used to having Star Trek. So the best thing you can do is surround yourself with people who understand Star Trek right off the bat. You don't have to have a Star Trek school or class or Star Trek camp to, you know, you don't need that. If you're having to do that, you are going the wrong direction. And they had to do that they had to do that with Alex Kurtzman and his writers and producers. They all had to have a Trek camp. Your Trek
I don't believe they did a good job of that either, by the way.
No, it was BS. It was BS. The whole thing was BS.
Yeah, it was publicity. Honestly, Seth MacFarlane's the most desirable Trek creator, but we know what the reality seems to be with that.
Yeah, well, no. Here's the thing: I would even have Seth MacFarlane come in to even submit a script or two.
He's allowed to write any script he wants. He could do it.
But he needs somebody to clean up his work because he's got problems.
Sometimes, yes, I agree.
There are all kinds of writers and others. Some of them have gone on to become showrunners themselves. That if you gave them the opportunity to at least write an episode or two of anything that is really good Trek, they would probably consider it. And that's really raising the bar. But that also means that whatever writers you do bring in, and this is the really cool thing about this. Now, being one of the regular writers on that show, you're going to have to raise your game to the level of all these scripts we're getting from former Trek writers. And that's the thing that Alex Kurtzman and his people never did and never understood. And that is to the detriment of every single actor and every single creator they ever had on that show.
Here.
Because you, in having a show, especially if it has Star Trek on it, you owe every single actor the very best. Sonequa Martin Green, Mary Weissman, Doug Jones, Anthony Rapp, Wilson Cruz, every single person that ever appeared on anything that has Star Trek in its title deserved to have the best, and they never got it. Kurtzman and his people were so bad, they did all those people wrong. I do not blame any of these actors for defending what they thought was being, a lot of fans attacking them. I don't blame them.
Well, that I don't want to give blanket immunity. There are some people there who have like taken up the propaganda that they were fed by the creators. I don't want to.
Even
but
the
Sonique
actor
was
that plays
sweet.
Pike did it too.
Yeah.
We have somebody just jumped in. Got to say something to him.
Yeah.
My buddy Kyle's here. Here you go, Zach.
Hey, fuck you, Kyle.
Love you.
No, I'm sorry. Sonique Martin Green. She is sweet, but what's his name? The doctor from Discovery. That guy needs to just go.
I've never heard anything he ever said. What did he do?
Well, he is very pugnacious, obnoxious, offensive, overshares, looks for reasons for people to get attention, sort of leaves way too much of himself out there not to expect any what we would call blowback from it. He's an activist and he's very fanatical and he's very combative and adversarial and just like will say horrible things. He makes Tim Russ look like a calm, reasoned gentleman. How's that sound?
You know what? I think even to a certain extent, him.
That's Dr. Oompa Loompa, right?
Well, Keith, you and I we said this on my show, right? Like Bad Robot and their ski on over at Rings of Power have pulled this scam twice. They wrote a show so bad that they tried to get bought out. The people who hired them were so offended they called their bluff. So they're working under duress for Bezos, and they were working under duress for Netflix, and they're working under duress for CBS. They double their production time and go and do another show. So what do they care? They're now making just as much money as they themselves had planned to make. But the Sonique Martin Greens of the world and the Melissa Navias, they have to have their lives uprooted and destroyed. They lose other opportunities. And the Star Trek, they have all, I show you tweets from any of them, especially Melissa Navia, who was tearful. She had to give up another show, and she had to leave right after the loss of her boyfriend of many years died. She mostly lives in Ireland and keeps quiet and out of Hollywood. She had to go do that, and she was just like crying and talking about how shambolic it is. No, the writers and creators of Star Trek Discovery are very cruel to their casts. I will say that.
Yeah, and I will throw in Anson Mount. Anson Mount, under any other group of writers and creatives that were doing any kind of Star Trek thing, Anson Mount would be the biggest star out there. People would be debating who was the greatest captain.
It's sabotage, yeah.
And the whole thing was sabotage. Just completely sabotage. I feel bad. Look, I know that a lot of these actors would probably tell me to go blank myself. I don't blame them because, again, they're actors. Or as Nerdrotic likes to say, they are adult pretenders. I will say this, though. I would challenge any of those actors to make themselves available to the new Trek and to the writers that will come in for this and just check out the quality of that writing compared to what you've been having to slog with under Kurtzman Trek. Because I guarantee you it'll be better. In fact, if JMS is working on this new Trek show, I guarantee you it'll be leagues better than what you were having to shovel on that show.
The only thing I'd ask JMS is please don't use your usual style. Be slightly less complex because we've been through needless complexity. And for right now, we need a smooth, linear story for a little while. You can do that season 3. Start bringing in the Babylon 5 complexity. But for a little while, a couple of factions, clear stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. Stakes, rational.
I'll tell you this much. If they make the announcement, look, according to Doomcock, they are currently right now negotiating. So we should have some sort of a word on how this is going as far as, is this actually going to go through by the end of this month? Contracts and everything else could be signed and this whole thing be official by the end of next month, meaning under what we have learned with how everything gets reported. I think things are a lot further along than even that. We should definitely have some sort of overall word by the end of this month on everything. And I tell you, if they were to announce that not only is Warner Brothers getting this, but if they were to announce a brand new series and right off the bat tell you that JMS is involved with the series and that Bruce Boxleitner could be one of the stars of said whatever this is, that fandom is going to lose their effing minds. And I would tell all of the Discovery fans and Kurtzman fans, don't take it personally. It's just that a lot of us have been having to hold our breaths for so long. The opportunity to actually take a real breath of real air will feel good. And trust me, in time, you will understand exactly how much you have been held back, how much you have been denied in terms of intelligent stories, great characters, deep philosophical discussions, and surprisingly just real science fiction that makes sense. That's what I can tell you. And again, I don't think these people would be above even allowing cast members, or at least actors that have acted under Kurtzman, the opportunity to come in. You know, they would never put up roadblocks like that. Just be prepared for them not to play the characters that you saw in Kurtzman Trek, because that's one thing David Zaslav, according to Doomcock, was very adamant about. He's not interested in renting Trek from anyone. And I don't think he's interested in buying out to take over characters, even though Kurtzman himself has said he wants to be bought out because he realizes this is the end. That's the other thing. If you're holding out hope for Kurtzman, don't. He's already let it be known this is it. His time.
I'm holding out something else to Mr. Kurtzman. I just can't turn on my camera to show you what part of my hand it is.
But he's already expressed that since this is the end, he wants to be bought out. And that's the reason why I say, while this is good news for us Trek fans, it's bad news for JMS and his Babylon 5 reboot. Because if Warner Brothers is going to drop this kind of money to buy the Star Trek IP, business-wise, I mean, I hate saying this, business-wise, there's almost no reason to try to spend money developing anything else. It just doesn't make any sense.
That said, Mr. Szynski may well have his own backers and may well be happy with the animated, in which case people would have a different level of expectation, right? He could do almost anything he wanted on a shoestring. He's worked as a comic book story writer, so he understands that very, very well and how to make that really look good. And I like those Spider-Mans that he wrote. There's paths that could keep him around and get us both in a way, or like occasional movies of Babylon 5.
Well, here's the thing. But here's the other thing. Time is running out. J. Michael Straczynski is an older man. And I don't see him. Basically, he himself has already intimated that if there was something new on the horizon, that he doesn't see himself being the showrunner even of a new Babylon 5 program, because he's older. He sees himself as being a guiding force, but not actually the guy in charge. That's the reason why I say, when it comes to Star Trek, if he's offered the opportunity, I don't think he'll be the showrunner, but he would come in to be their Harlan Ellison, to be their advisor in the writer's room and keep everybody going the right direction. You know, that to me, within science fiction, is important. You got to have someone who truly is a fan of the genre to keep all the writers going the right direction.
This is how you don't read a room, right here, what Chinatsky said. This is how to fail at reading a room. Toy sales are only down with the stuff that they don't want to buy. When it comes to the classic stuff, toy sales up.
Sean Carter's doing
when it comes to video sales, video on demand, classic Star Trek all the way up through Voyager, sales still up. I think Enterprise is still up, but we still, sadly, they're not high enough yet to ever give us a digital upgrade or cleaning that we saw with Next Generation and the original series.
Yeah,
I think because they're still in the red with TNG. Are they still in the red with the classic Trek? Or
I
did they
don't think
finally turn a
so.
profit?
I'm fairly sure Classic Trek and the Trek Online game are the things that make them their money.
Yeah, and again,
And there's plenty of money to be made. There are fans
right.
out there. It's not dead. In fact, I would refer to
Game's doing well.
that as an absurd statement. I hate
The
saying that.
game is the game's doing very well, and the game is not connected canonically anymore to New Trek for about 2 years.
Which means it'll be easy to adapt whatever Trek becomes under Warner Brothers, and that's the other good thing.
Their option. They could turn around and say, we want to do the Warner Brothers Star Trek mission. Their license, I don't think, is anything but video games. So they had their licenses poached on, or their creative ideas used by Metalis. When we throw the one ship into the other with the deflector repulsor array, that's the game.
Yeah. Well, again, that is also depending on who you talk to.
No, we're not going to switch gears. This is all we're going to talk about all day.
You know what? Isn't it great after all these years, 17 years, though? Here we sit with an intelligent Star Trek discussion where no one is divided. Everyone is very happy. No one can really be wrong yet. Hope.
And I know we all don't look at it the same way. It's just simply we're in some sort of agreement on this.
I hope
we're invested we're all invested in this enterprise. Is that a way to say it?
Whoa, maybe.
I will say
I like Enterprise.
As I said earlier,
Enterprise. I love it.
I want to see this be successful because this is the kind of kick to the balls type of thing that needs to happen. No, seriously, that needs to happen.
It's Star Trek 6, right? Not
true. That needs to happen in order to shake Disney out of whatever they got going on, thinking that they're going to do something. Because if Star Trek can turn itself around, and I'll tell you this much, and I know this is going to sound bad to you Kurtzman people, if this turns around and you get quality people working behind the scenes, you're going to see a return of Star Trek in a way that you've never seen since you've been a Kurtzman fan. That fans will return. It'll take some a while because there's going to be a lot of skeptics. But if you get quality talent, both behind the scenes as far as writing and production and in front of the camera by having people like Bruce Boxleitner return or
it's like Star Trek fans are like the girlfriend that got burned by her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And basically the boyfriend's like, hey, baby, I changed. I'm different. I'm better.
Yeah. You don't know him like I do.
I don't know. You might have. I'm going to send you flowers. I'm going to give you candy.
Keith keeps using two words together that shouldn't be together. Kurtzman and fan.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I don't think there's more than 100,000.
They don't even sound alike
in the world.
They don't rhyme. They don't make
worldwide.
Sense. But anyway, hey, we got a friend that just popped in here.
By what name are you known? There are some who call me Tim.
Love the story.
Tim?
With a very elaborate long name for the character. And right at the moment when he was going to deliver the line, he forgot the name. And he went with Tim. And they loved it so much that became the scene.
I again, nothing like watching those guys work. There's a reason why those guys are comedy geniuses. But
apparently Eric Idle and Cleese don't really get along.
Yeah, well,
I always suspected that was the case.
There's a lot of groups where you have certain people within a group that don't get along. I mean, Michael Nesmith revealed that he and Peter Tork never got along in the Monkees. So,
they were the ones with the most music knowledge too.
That's right.
Weird.
Actually, in a way, that one makes sense to me, right? They both have musical ability. The other two guys are free agents, kind of not committing, but they have a say in it. And you've got two people who have a passion and the two have learned instruments or multiple instruments. And you're like, we're going to do this. It's like, hell no, we're not. We're going to do this. It's like, I got to play the drums and sing this at the same time. No way. And then the other
I love Mickey Dolenz, by the way, who once Like he didn't know how to play drums. He just quickly learned. And I loved
was
when he
all
said,
right.
"Well, it's not rocket science."
Yeah.
That's what he said. It's not rocket science. You can learn it. So
Well, what he was
we've hit the
doing
top of the
then-
hour. That means it's time for our little break. So we'll come back and we're going to be talking about a little bit of Henry Cavill as well as Prisoner, the Christopher Nolan's Prisoner. So here we go, guys. Blah.
Meet the Seattle Vigilante. Like so many comic heroes, this warrior hides his identity. But his identity isn't the only secret he has to keep. After grievous wounds received during combat, Tier 1 operator John Russell begins to recover and comes to terms with his new reality of being an amputee. And as he learns how to use his new prosthetic limb, he finds himself caught up in the bureaucratic red tape that too many wounded veterans experience, the exhausting medboard process. Out of sheer frustration, John takes it out on the criminal scum of the city. But when reality kicks in, John realizes he started something that's having an impact on the greater world around him, and thus has to reevaluate his motives. And moreover, just how far is John willing to go to finish this war he's declared against the criminals in Seattle? And will he even survive? From the creator of IDW's award-winning graphic novel Code Word Geronimo comes a new story about a different kind of warrior, Vindicated Inc., the first of its kind disabled veteran action hero comic. The Vindicated Inc. graphic novel crowdfunding campaign on fundmycomic.com is provided in the description of this video. We hope you become a contributor. Please share this link. Thank you.
There we go. And we're getting ready to start a whole new campaign for this over on Indiegogo. I'll probably be launching it next week because everything's kind of stalled out over there on Fund My Comic. I don't think they have as large an audience as Indiegogo. So I'm going to move things over there and keep it open on Fund My Comics, but I'm going to go try to get some additional funding because Richard needs to get paid. So there you go. Yeah. So, but anyway,
I was going to. You had asked me earlier about celebration. Actually, tomorrow is Todd McFarlane's birthday. So, as far as the rest,
who is he?
Todd McFarlane is artist and
never heard of him.
You walked right into it, Keith.
I did. I walked right.
What does he do? Has he done something neat?
You know what?
I bet somebody I bet his parents put his artwork on the fridge.
I'm sure they did. I am sure they did.
You know what his greatest contribution to comics was?
What?
Noodles webbing.
Oh,
He's the one who came up with that.
I thought you were going to say his business that he put together for creating action figures that just beat the blank out of what a lot of other people were doing. He's taken action figure creation to a whole new level. And McFarlane, he's done an amazing job with a lot of his non-comic book work. But being one of the people behind Image Comics and creating Spawn and all of that stuff. But yeah, his birthday is tomorrow.
What I'm talking about, for those of you who don't know, is spaghetti webbing. He's the one who created it. This shit. And it's freaking cool. It's one of my favorite webbings that was ever created for Spider-Man. And it's Todd McFarlane, man. Plus, he did some other stuff like Spawn or something.
Well, Monkey, are you complaining that his figures are too big? But are you complaining?
That's another thing to complain about.
Are you complaining about the size?
I'm looking over at my Thurman Munson McFarlane right now, and it's, I guess, like
his sports and military figures are some of the best.
Munson's just digging one right out of the dirt in front of home plate. He looks like he's ready to get train wrecked by somebody. It's a great
I collected his military series. It was like amazing what he did for the military.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, overall, there's a consistent quality to his action figures that really you cannot ascribe to a lot of other companies who were making action figures prior to McFarlane. So, yeah. Oh, Cheese Monkey, come on. So basically, you don't like you like the 6-inch, but the fact he gives you 7 and you hate that.
Phrasing.
That's what she said. Look, man, he's a serious collector. I get where he's coming from on that. Consistency. And, he's speaking like somebody who's got a little bit of OCD, and I get that more than anybody probably because I'm OCD. But
What?
the Thurman Munson was because look, man, those of us that were alive when he died, man, that was a night. That was a night. I may not like Neil G, but that situation was bullshit. What are we talking about here? Wait, what?
Neil
Don't
Gaiman?
know.
What does Neil Gaiman have to do with anything?
I don't know. Look, Shinatsky is like in his own world sometimes. I don't know. I'm hoping that Martin is keeping up on the chat, but he never knows.
Oh no, I don't know. I have no idea.
No clue. Okay. McFarlane has failed to understand contracts and fucked himself because he couldn't just share rights for Angela. What's this?
It's one of the characters that was in Spawn.
Yeah.
Angela, and I don't know the full story about how that Angela character.
Well, Angela was created by Neil Gaiman.
Not to be confused with Wanda.
I think that's what Shinatsky's getting at.
Yeah.
Kingsport Cow. Thank you. Okay, so that's interesting. So, look, it's not the first time independent people have been shitheads or shitheels about things. So Marvel owns Angela now, and he doesn't want to share with Marvel, which I get. He's got a beef with them. He sold. Oh, Neil Gaiman sold Angela to Marvel. Well, then he got his money.
Yeah.
End of story. It's on change.org in a search away. Okay, cool. This is a petition that had 31 signatures, was inspired by Midnight Judge's conversation about Tom Cruise taking over the franchise and by Podcast Brothers Terry Trek petition. Interesting. I don't know, huh? I mean, he loves fans.
Yeah.
And you kind of want somebody like that in charge of something that has a fan base.
Well, that's, again, having, first of all, fans show up to actually watch and buy your merchandising. Those are two very important things that Star Trek under Kurtzman and CBS haven't had done for quite a while. They've lost a lot of money, or in this case, left a lot of money on the table. A lot of companies who were making Star Trek merchandising didn't want to deal with Kurtzman Trek. They decided not to work with them. Though a lot of those companies could come back now. So you'll see quality merchandising again, which is what I was getting to earlier. So,
by the way, speaking of merchandising, back in the 60s, Lost in Space did something really interesting during the show, which was they turned Robot into like a deity to other robots. Do you remember that one?
I think I remember that episode.
And what they did for the series is they went out and bought a bunch of the Lost in Space robot toys. So there'd be little tiny versions of the robot on the show. And here's a shot of it right there. Isn't that cool?
That is really cool.
That is actually the battery-powered robot that was sold, and I had one as a kid. That was pretty funky. I found that the other day. I thought that was kind of cool. But let's move on, because here's our thumbnail for today to remind everybody what we're doing. We're going to be talking about Henry Cavill, but I thought we'd before we get into that, we'd talk about Christopher Nolan's Prisoner they like to use the word reboot a lot today, and I'm always cautious. Like, is it a reboot? Is it a sequel? And like Screen Rant and Collider have a tendency of incorrectly using the words.
Yeah.
It's like, no, what you meant was readaptation.
There you go.
But in this case, The Prisoner was an original series. And so this technically would be a reboot if it's starting with telling the whole story over again in a new way. And I'm a big fan of Christopher Nolan's work, although I think that he puts way too much into it to the point where he risks being boring. And that's what happened to Tenet. It got boring. And it became tedious. And you don't want to overthink it so much that you lose your fucking audience. I'm not telling you to dumb it down. I'm just telling you, don't fucking make it too complicated. And, he got so excited because there's this debate still going on with the Top from Inception. And all Inception is a non-horror version of Dreamscape with Dennis Quaid, Max von Sydow, Kate Capshaw. That's all it is. And I tell people, look, I don't want to break your brain, but that's not his totem. Top.
Don't worry, it's been broken a long
Whether
time.
it kept going or fell over or not, it didn't matter. That's not his totem. His wedding ring was his totem.
Mm-hmm.
And if you pay attention at the end of the film, he's got his wedding ring on. That means it's the real world.
Yep.
I hate to shatter your fucking theories. Pay attention to what's being written in front of you. But he then does Tenet and he just goes overboard with it. And of course the film flopped. It's a brilliant film, but it flopped. And I see why. I got it though. I understood his use of red and blue because of my understanding of science and the fact that I grew up in, in the world of physics and talking about E equals MC square. I simply give you E equals MC square, and what do? You fuck it up, you Meshuggahs. And create the atomic bomb. They've given you a number and taken away your name. I love The Prisoner. I've watched every single episode multiple times.
I think
on my computer.
I think TV
Great
Guide
Iron
had
Maiden's song too.
I think TV Guide had it as one of the top shows of all time. Top television shows of all time.
Never shown in my area. It's crazy.
It truly is a great show.
It really is odd that you couldn't find it in New York, or at least it was before my time. I mean, it's a pretty old show.
And it is considered by some deep divers to be a sequel to Secret Agent Man or Danger Man. I'm sorry.
Danger Man. Yeah.
Because of a single photograph that is used at the beginning in the titles is a photo of Danger Man.
Which was played by the same actor who was the lead.
Patrick McGowan.
Creator. Yeah,
Patrick McGowan was deeply involved in the creating of this show.
Yeah.
He was far more creative than a lot of people realize. He directed a lot of great episodes of Columbo.
Mm-hmm.
He and Peter Falk were close friends. And they were very close friends in real life. And he would be on the show regularly, but he would also direct episodes. If you would go and look up his name and then look up other things he's done, including directing, you'll see Columbo on that list. I love him as a creator. What he did with what's his name? Dr. Sin.
Mm-hmm.
In his battle with the British. What a great film.
Right Disney. There, Disney. You should make a Dr. Sin film. You should. Oh, and
adapt it directly from what Patrick McGowan created.
Yeah, you should all. Well, here's the other thing. In the original comic, not the movie, in the original comic for the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Dr. Sin was part of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen in its former incarnation, before the incarnation of what the comic and thus the movie ended up doing.
Exactly. So number 6, which I love, Be Seeing You, because just a regular red shirt and I do that to each other when we say goodnight to each other. I love 6, but the other main character is number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Who is number 2? Come on, that's a Austin Powers joke. Anyway,
who does number 2 work for?
Who does number 2 work for? Works for you, man.
You tell that
hey, man,
who's
at least
ball.
give us a courtesy flush.
During the entire series, there were approximately 12.
Yes, that's true,
18.
Shinowski. I remember that.
There were 18
Be
people.
seeing you.
That
he said it just like that. He said to Columbo, "Well, be seeing you."
There were 18 actors who played number 2. So that's the reason why in our conversation yesterday with Gary, I said that if you're going to do a film version of this, a big screen version of The Prisoner, you should.
I brought my list. Did you bring yours, Keith?
I've got mine. You should go ahead and have at least 2 or 3 actors play number 2 during the course of the story, because that.
And here's can I give my list? I want to do it right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I believe that if you're gonna do this series, it needs to remain British. No American actors. No agents from America. It should be all British. And you need to keep that fucking orb. Those things scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Well, the actors that you pick not only should be British, they should also be people that you could have seen, at least when it comes to number 6, as secret agents.
Absolutely. So my top 4 for playing number 2 are Ralph Fiennes, Gary Oldman, Charles Dance,
okay,
and Hugo Weaving.
So these are all for number 6.
Wait. Hugo is not from New Zealand.
Yeah, Hugo's from New Zealand.
Part of the United Kingdom. They're still part of the United Kingdom.
Commonwealth, yeah.
Are these?
Calm the fuck down, Martin.
Are these your picks?
The fuck down.
I don't want to. Well,
are these your picks?
I'm sorry. I love Hugo.
Yeah, Keith's trying to ask you a question. Would you let him finish his question?
No.
I want to say all the Latino people are behaving,
Keith.
I was just gonna ask, are these your picks for number 6 or number 2?
I said number 2.
Okay, I just wanted.
I said number 2.
Okay.
Those 4 actors should play. All 4 of them should play number 2.
Why did you leave Simon Pegg out?
Not interested in him.
I thought it was a good question. I thought that was the answer as well, but I wanted to tee that up.
Not interested in Simon Pegg for this. These are actors that I think add an air of legitimacy. They are seriously dramatic actors that when you're going to see them, this is not going to be a silly show. This is going to be taken very seriously. And also goes with who I think should play number 6. Number 1 on my list for playing him is Idris Elba. He's the right age. Tom Hardy is another actor I think could handle it. Jude Law is the right age too. Oddly, I picked Ewan McGregor as one too, because I love Ewan McGregor. I thought he'd be really good. And of course, another fellow Scotsman that I think would be good in the part is James McAvoy. He's a little on the young side, but he could handle it.
The only problem with these picks are there's no show that'd be able to afford any of them.
Well, this is not a show. This is a movie. It's going to be a major motion picture.
Yeah, it's a Christopher fucking Nolan movie. He could absolutely have all of these actors. They all love him and adore him.
Look at the suggestion from me, Clay.
Mr. Bean, thank you. Nobody says thank you quite like Mr. Bean. The tongue comes all the way out of his face. Thank you.
Read by nature, that's a good one. Damian Lewis is a great actor, although I would have him
I
as a
don't see it
possible-
happening because he's wanting to retire from acting.
Yeah.
How about weirdo
Just-
Gavin Rossdale?
No,
I wouldn't even consider him. I don't know. Is he pretty good? What does he play?
He was like the rival in Constantine.
yeah, he's basically a musician that moonlights
As an actor.
He's the former Mr. What's her name? Gwen
I just don't
Stefani.
remember him.
He's basically
pretty good.
Jared
His band
Leto
was called-
without the baggage.
His band was called Bush.
Or from a country under United Kingdom rule.
He's outright British.
Okay. All right. There you go. So, Keith, what is your list?
Wow. Again, a lot of mine mirrors yours. Because we
I know,
talked
because you and I were talking at the same
Yeah,
time.
I mean it's hard to, you know. Although
that's a nice way to tell that you copy his list.
no, seriously.
Oh, we were
Yeah.
talking last night and
I know.
tossing
I'm,
out names. And
I'm just messing up with
I
you.
would say a
both of
name
you.
and he'd go, oh.
I would want to knock one name off that list. I don't think Jude Law can act. Show me a movie where it's good. It was Michael Caine's birthday. He was in that Alfie remake. Go watch that movie. Aside from a Mick Jagger song, it's got nothing.
First of all, I don't like either of the remakes. He's in 2 Michael Caine remakes. He's in that one, and then he is with Michael Caine in the remake of Sleuth.
Yep.
I think he can act. I just don't think he's
I've seen a lot of bad movies,
like a
man.
thespian, but he can play a character. I liked him as Holmes. I mean, as Watson.
You mean is he your second favorite Watson or your third? I mean, he's nobody's first pick on this one.
No, my first favorite Watson is
Did you
the
just
gentleman
out
that
Jude
played
Law
during
the thespian?
the 90s.
The guy who played it for Battle Rathbone is my favorite Watson.
Oh, Nigel Bruce? Yeah, but he
Yeah,
played a
come on,
buffoon.
man.
He played
You know
a
what?
buffoon. I
It's
didn't
the
like him.
classic. Yeah, I agree. Well, I agree.
Well, that's
with
because
you.
American
I
audiences
liked
didn't
him.
know who, the characters. Those of us that grew up reading those mysteries, he's nowhere near the John Watson. I'll tell you another really good John Watson, Robert Duvall, who's not even fucking English. He played him in the 7% Solution.
Mm.
And it
What
was
about
fucking
Without a
brilliant.
Clue? What about the Watson? From
That
Without a
was
Clue? That was,
well,
what's his name from?
it's
I'm
a
trying to
flip.
remember it too.
I'm going to tell you no, because that's not really Sherlock Holmes and
Academy Award.
Watson. They're making Michael Caine out to be a buffoon, and
Right, and
that
it's Roger
Watson is
Moore
the real
as-
brains, and I didn't like that.
I really thought that was decent subversion because it was at least satire, and Holmes with dozens of years. Of
It was
movies. I mean, the best Holmes movie is with William Shatner as the bad guy. Hound of the Baskervilles is, of course, the very best Holmes movie, and whoever's in that is the best.
I'll tell you a
Holmes
great
of all.
one is anything with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. Those were
Agreed.
always good. In fact, they did one together, The Hound of the Baskervilles, where he played Lord Baskerville that they're protecting.
Mm-hmm.
But Peter Cushing was just fantastic when he played him on TV and in film.
I would like to add at least a name to
Yeah, because you've not given us your list yet.
Yeah, I know. Everybody was talking. I would at least add. I would add one name to the list,
Okay.
and for number 6, and that would be Richard Madden, who was originally a lot of people you would know him from Game of Thrones. He was Robb Stark. I think he would make it a really cool number 6. I also think that, and I know I'm going to catch heck for this because I told you this yesterday, and I know I'm going to catch heck for saying it out loud, but I think Robert Pattinson would be a decent choice. He wouldn't be my
He can
number
act.
1.
I just think that he's the cunt. His behavior is just horrible, atrocious behavior.
I gotta agree with that.
As number 6. Now, as number 2, I agree with Colin Firth. You know, Colin Firth could really.
Yeah, I brought him up
bring that.
yesterday as somebody that was a potential. Yeah,
Colin
you
Firth
and I
could
talked about
just
him.
do damage. I think Sean Bean would be good. I think Ian Glenn
But
would
he'd also be
good.
good as the number 6. I mean, a number 2 and number 6. He could play either one.
But you know what? I think if I were to pick someone to be the ultimate choice for that, it would have to be Charles Dance to be number
Charles
2.
Dance is
Number two.
God.
Number 2. Sorry, number 2. To be number 2, Charles Dance would have to be at the top of the list because he is so good at being a bad guy.
He would be, for my pick, as the final number 2.
Oh, geez,
in
dude.
the final solution.
Oh, geez, dude. You know what?
Because you remember in the original series, it was the gentleman from Help that played the priest.
Oh, yeah. That was oh gosh, that was,
I forget his name. A great English actor.
Yeah, I could see
he is the final number 2.
I could see his face. I just don't remember his name. That sucks. But
Stephen Fry is a brilliant actor. He should actually be somebody on the island. He shouldn't be either number 2 or number 6. He should just be one of the other nameless people living on the island. I love Stephen Fry. And plus, he's got great comic chops. So
you're right.
He does the affable, likable character.
Leo McKern. Leo McKern.
That's him. Yeah, the gentleman from Help, and he played the final number 2 in the series.
But it's very important that you cast the right people really playing number 2, because it truly is a massive cat and mouse game. You know, now one idea I did have is, I know you said no to it originally, because I think that I think he's a good actor. I think he's someone that some people would say, well, he could have played number 6. No, because that's too on the nose. You know, in picking all of these people, I think you should have someone that is just solid and good. And this would be a nice turn for this particular actor. And I'm thinking Daniel Craig should at least be allowed to play number 2.
Yeah, and the reason why is he is so firmly connected to Bond.
Yeah, I wouldn't have him as number 6.
I would consider it a bad idea to have him.
In total, you mean?
Can we have him as someone who
totality,
dies, someone we
he's
kill?
just too well known with James Bond, and that's why I wouldn't. That's the only reason I wouldn't pick him to be in there. If he was still unknown, like back when he was working with Spielberg, he would have been good before he played Bond. Once he played Bond, I think that is an automatic no for him. But I dig why you like him and for the part. But I'll tell you, let's discuss that lesser known American remake of the series for AMC that had two good actors. I like Henry. What's his name?
Cavill?
No.
Oh,
Caviezel.
Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel.
Yeah.
Jim Caviezel.
And
was
Ian
wrong
McKellen
for number 6. I like him as an actor. Wrong for number 6. And Ian McKellen as number 2. Look, it was a high idea and it failed on its face. It just was terrible. Terrible show. I don't blame either of them for it. I blame the writers, the showrunners. They screwed everything up.
You've got to be intelligent if you're going to do this. The Prisoner is an intelligent television series. This is not a show.
You have to be really good with subtext.
Yes.
The art of subtlety.
Ooh, you cannot skimp on trying to do this. That's the reason why.
Hugh Laurie's another one that would be very good for number 2.
Ooh.
If you need, each version of number 2 should be different, and he could play one of the versions of number 2.
Oh, geez. See, that's another one. See?
What about Tom Holland?
I thought about Hiddleston, Monkey. I really did. I hemmed and hawed over him last night. Pierce Brosnan, not right. He played Bond.
And he's too old.
Tom Hardy?
But Tom Hiddleston is somebody that I looked at and said, by golly, he's almost right for 6, almost.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's something about him that just doesn't work for me, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't work. So I'd say stick with that idea because I think Hiddleston's a good actor. I really do. I actually knew who he was way before he was on Marvel because I watched him on a little series, Dutch police officer series that was shot on the BBC with, I just forgot his name, Irish director. He also directed Thor, the first Thor movie. Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kenneth Branagh had that series where he played that Dutch police officer detective.
Yeah.
And Hiddleston played one of his detectives, and that's a damn good show.
He's got
Damn
a couple of Shakespeare features too, like Denzel's in one of them. Much Ado About Nothing, right? And there's also a Taming of the Shrew. Kenneth Branagh, he directed like the human parts of the Thor movie. You know what I mean? Where Thor interacts. They had an action number. They had a second unit action director. Nobody said Tom Hardy. Isn't Tom Hardy British? No one thought about him, huh?
Yeah, I said Tom Hardy.
They said Tom Hardy.
I get them and Tom Holland confused when I hear the name, and I have to like think for a minute. I have a mental block on that one.
Tom Hardy was my number 2 actor mentioned as Idris Elba, Tom Hardy, Jude Law, Ewan McGregor, or James McAvoy are on my top list. There are other people on my list.
I'd love to see McGregor in another role, really. Yeah.
You know what? I even really think that I think all of your picks are solid. That's the reason why, I had a hard time coming up with a rival list that didn't hit on an actor or multiple actors you had already named. I mean, you had pretty much just blown through my list, and these are all solid actors. And again, this is not a boom boom style of action idea. This really is pretty much psychological torture. A monkey. That's a good idea. Paul Bettany would make a very
excellent actor.
Excellent actor. He
if
could
you
go.
See me silently stick my thumbs up, I'm agreeing with whatever's on the screen.
I think he can go either way. I think he can either be number 6 or number 2. I think we one
lost
of those.
David Warner.
Yeah,
didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We did last year.
Great actor. Wallander was the series I was trying to think of with Kenneth Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh would make a very good number 2.
I have a problem with him. He's an overactor. He does. He has a tendency of overacting.
I have a tendency, though, that whenever he's worked with this particular director, he does exactly what he's told. He keeps him.
He's a great actor. Don't get me wrong.
Yes,
the dude is a Shakespearean actor. I dare say that his Henry V is better than Olivier's by quite a margin. I mean, you've got fucking what's his name?
You might be right. No, it's really good. It's really good.
Giant mouth English actor. I can't think of his name. Tried to climb multiple times Mount Everest.
Bruce
he was
Spence?
on Space 1999. He was the leader of the Hawk people on Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
Brian Blessed.
Brian Blessed. He plays Exeter in that version of Henry V. It's one of my favorite performances. Plus, you got Ash from Alien, Ian. I forgot his last name. Great fucking actor.
Holm, Bilbo.
Ian Holm.
And
Ian Holm,
the best Ashing Court speech, right? That's the "We Happy Few," right? Yeah,
we few.
Is great.
We happy few.
He who fights with me this day shall be my brother. Yes, And how many? And then if you just read that one soliloquy, there's 25 movie titles and book names in a row.
Mentioning it.
Yeah. If we are marked to die, we do our country no dishonor.
Whenever you see somebody deliver a great speech in a film, whenever you see it, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Kevin Costner's speech, you get all these movies for those speeches, and President, Independence Day.
Yep.
They're all basically doing that speech.
Yep.
Best part of that speech to me is deserters. There'll be no deserters. We won't have you. Leave us now. We'll pay. We'll pay to get rid of you. There will be no deserters from this army because the less of us there are, the more I trust every man. Come on, let's go. Shoulder to shoulder, guys. With good Prince Hal.
That's a rousing speech.
I bet that is really good read.
Tonight.
I bet that is a really good autobiography. I love Brian Blessed, man.
Oh, yeah.
That you could fit a fucking American softball in that guy's fucking
Was
mouth.
he? Was he one of the princes? Annette Benning's in that. No,
What are you
Annette
talking
Bening's
about?
not in that one.
Wow.
No, he plays X. What are you talking about?
No,
What
he's
movie?
a child.
What movie?
Henry V.
Henry
Branagh?
V. He plays Exeter. Brian Blessed plays Exeter.
No, he said
No.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale was in
Henry
Branagh's
V
Henry V as a
as a
10-year-old.
Oh yes, he's
10-year-old.
one of the boys.
He's one of the princes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a prince. He's one of the boys that traveled with him to get things for them.
Oh, okay.
He's just a squire.
I did not know that.
Absolutely, he's in there. I pointed it out when we watched the scene. I watched with him. I said, and paused real quick right when it happened. Went, and that's Batman.
That's how he got a sense of justice.
Wow.
That's right.
I'm telling you, this is a good movie, and it's the kind of film from the kind of director that I think could really do something with it. You know,
If Russell could lose the weight, Russell Crowe could probably pull off a good number 6.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah, I don't think he's motivated to lose the weight though. So
I think the weight's from drinking.
He's
And
happy
he's not
with himself.
motivated to stop that. Yeah, exactly. He's just hanging out.
He says, "I'm
He's
not
having
going
a
to
good
take
time.
parts in movies unless you take me as I am, baby."
He shouldn't have sung, but aside from that, he's been good most of his career.
yeah. Oh, again, The Prisoner is a great idea, and let me also add into all of this
That story to begin with.
Yeah, this is actually the second time that he's attempted to do this. Originally, Nolan tried to develop this back in 2009, and things went a different way. So he's been holding on to this idea for quite a while. I think if he's really that committed to this idea, then this isn't just going to be some sort of, hey, I have his, it's not a lazy production. He's really pouring everything he has into this. And as I told you yesterday, that means that it'll give him a chance to have a James Bondian type action scene if he wanted to put it in at the beginning of the movie.
Well, you need to establish he's a good agent, but you also need to establish within that scene that something went south.
Yeah.
Because you never really get that with the original series. And I think that would be a really good establishing of the story of why he's being sent there, that there's a misunderstanding or that he did something that was perceived as incorrect.
Or he saw something that he perceives is wrong with everything and he just wants out, And look, Chris Nolan and his people
still under the English crown. Still under the English crown.
I think
so they're allowed.
I think Nolan and his team, I think they have an angle on this, which is the only reason really to do it. You can't just make you can't just remake what has already been done. You have to have an angle on it that makes it worth it. If you're going to spend the better part of 3 years of your life trying to develop something, you better make sure you have something to tell and something to say. And I think he's got something to say. And so as Gerry and I and others, we really like this story. The television series, in my opinion, is one of the groundbreaking successes in television. Without The Prisoner, a lot of modern day shows do not exist. Period. There is no argument. You do not have, let's put it this way, J.J. Abrams has no career. There's no mystery box without The Prisoner.
This is
Keith, don't you want me to like it?
This is somebody's suggestion. I think it was Monkey Jeebus's suggestion.
Oh yes,
and I got to tell you, this scene sells him for the part of number 6.
I'd like to ask a few questions about this breakfast cereal.
Yeah, box of tricks.
That's right. I've been led to understand that tricks are exclusively for children. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, they say tricks are for kids in the commercials.
And is that enforced by law?
It's weird that he was funny in that, but in the movie where they tried to cast him as the comic bad guy, it failed so badly. I like
the
love
film,
A Million
but
Ways
yeah.
to Die. He should have used his fake Hollywood voice. It was the right. He's more menacing.
He said that the only way he would agree to play that role is because of the shitting that Seth MacFarlane took on him in his Irish accent, that he had to use his Irish accent. And so that's why. I like the film. I don't think it's great. It's an okay film. Ted is much better. I think Liam has really good comic chops by playing serious. When he plays serious, and that's why him playing Frank Drebin Jr. is a good idea, because he's not there to crack jokes. He's there to play a serious character. And because he's serious, it makes it fucking funny. That's how Frank Drebin worked. Leslie Nielsen understood that he never played for yucks. He played his characters straight. And that's what made him, when he played a funny character, that's why it was funny. And I think that's the only chance this new sequel series is gonna, or movie is gonna be any good.
Yeah.
Is if he plays his character completely straight. He has to believe in everything he's saying and doing.
Yep.
Isn't the overall creator Seth, or
for what?
Who's doing the new Police Squad?
I didn't see any names associated with it. Did you, Keith?
No, but let me look that up.
Seth MacFarlane would be an ideal choice who would absolutely understand how to do it perfectly. I don't know. I mean, maybe I just have a bit of a man crush on him, but I guess that's two things today I said he should be in charge of: Star Trek and this. But that would be an ideal person.
Coming off a little gay there, Teague.
Or we could come. Or how about this one? We tell Kurtzman that it's serious. Just let him write it and then publish it as it's this is a really good drama, Alex. Just give it to comic actors and have them do Star Trek Discovery. Just translate it back into the detective show. It's what they want to be. Anyway.
Seth MacFarlane is one of the writers.
All right.
I'm assuming a producer. Mark Henteman and Dan Greger, and the director is Akiva Schaffer.
Was this Fuzzy Door Productions? Because that would mean he's fully in charge.
I'm not seeing his studio
collaborating
associated yet.
You know what? Good for Seth MacFarlane.
It's Paramount.
Out of the box.
Paramount right now is the one that is doing it.
Well, they're grasping at straws, so that's why
he has a Hulu. So Seth MacFarlane has a Hulu deal, he has a Peacock deal, and he has a Paramount deal. It doesn't matter to him who makes it; he's going to be all right.
Well, his main deal is.
I have a question. Isn't every cock a peacock?
I would agree. Especially on Friday night over St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Hold on a second. Let's be clear. Australia, New Zealand.
Hello, RRTNZ.
That's history. You tell a Kiwi or Aussie they're under the British Crown today, they'd laugh at you. Constitutional monarchies like Canada. They still recognize that it is what it is. But I agree, they probably don't like it. They want to be liberated from it, and eventually probably will be. I hope Canada is kind of too, but Canada's a fucking mess right now. So, and Australia's not far off.
I just want to say right after they read deleted scenes chat on the episode of The Critical Drinker this morning, the next chat they read was RRTNZ, who Drinker calls RRTNZ.
RRTNZ, I like that one.
RRTNZ is more properly addressed as RRTNZ, and it seems to me, if I'm watching the show right, the Critical Drinker seems to enjoy reading the chats from RRTNZ because he seems to ask really good questions, and he's been in my chat a few times, and I'd just like to welcome RRTNZ. Hello, RRTNZ.
Absolutely, man. Good to see you, dude. If you're a friend of Doomcock's in particular, or any of those guys, you're a friend of mine. I love those guys.
I'll call him
So
a friend.
let's
I won't
see.
speak on his behalf,
He
though.
has been a writer on some really garbage stuff. Akiva, what is his name? Not Akiva.
Goldsmith?
Yeah,
Goldsmith?
Akiva Schaffer,
Oh,
the
Schaefer.
director for. He's worked on SNL, which is not something to brag about. But he works directly with Andy Samberg, and I think Andy Samberg could be really damn funny.
Look, you need to have a lot going on to be able to match what the Zuckers and Abrams did with all of this stuff. But I think if you've got Seth MacFarlane on your side and you really do have an eye and ear for comedy, I'm willing to give you a shot. But again, it's I am such a fan of Abrams Zucker Productions, because those guys just knew how to do it. I mean, they
absolutely.
And we know for sure that J.J. Abrams
Kentucky
is not
Fried
related
Movie,
to or make any money from this.
Airplane was just nothing more than a remake of a 1950s disaster film.
Yeah.
Shot for shot, a remake of the film. Dialogue straight from the movie is in it still.
Yep.
They just flipped it on its head with some of the dialogue. My favorite to this day being, looks like I picked a hell of a day to stop sniffing glue.
Look, everybody's favorite character, whether they want to admit it or not, is Johnny. Okay? Johnny is the best character in all the Airplane movies.
In all cinematic
sadly,
history,
he died.
Yeah, he did.
Died from AIDS.
Yeah.
He was just one of the victims.
Sorry, Johnny. Ripped to a great actor and a hilarious man. You made a generation laugh hard in two different movies.
He made my dad took me to those movies, and he made my dad one of the most uncomfortable people around gay people I've ever seen in my life. I used to mess with him all the time about it. Because did I tell you guys about the time I tricked him into thinking I was gay? I've been doing it for weeks. Planting the seeds. Planted the seeds. I said, I broke up with my girlfriend. I've been hanging out with Travis, which wasn't totally true because I was actually hanging out with my girlfriend. But he didn't know that. And I kept going, Travis and I went to Chicago when it was actually my girlfriend. I went up there, had a great time. I just started feeding him and I told him one time, I'm inviting Travis over for dinner with you. Please don't misbehave. Don't embarrass me. I swear to God, Dad, I'll never speak to you again if you embarrass me with Travis, because he's openly gay, And this is going on for weeks, dude. Weeks. Finally, the last day, I'm sitting there and I said, Dad, I got to tell you, I think this is the happiest I've ever been in my life. I said, Travis has changed my life, and living with him, the way he touches me, the way he kisses me. When we make love, it is just, and at this point, I turned and looked at my dad, and his lips were cyanotic.
Oh, no.
They were blue, and he had this look of absolute, sheer terror on his face. And I saw the look with the blue lips, and I went, I'm going to fucking kill my dad with a stroke. I have to fucking end this quickly. And I'm just fucking with you, Dad. I'm still straight. I love vagina. Don't ever do that to me. Don't ever do that to me. He got so upset with me.
At least you knew he was surprised, right? I think my father would have just been like, when you
he wasn't
spent
surprised.
He was in
absolute shock. He was shocked.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. Yeah, the big trick is I am actually gay. I fooled all those women, too. Ha!
And again, all those movies were fun, and you could tell they were having fun making them. Kentucky Fried Movie is still one of my favorites. Just the rapid fire gags. What do you make of this?
Right here. What do you make of this, Johnny? Well, I can make a hat, a brooch. When he jumped out and shook that guy's fat belly, I almost fucking lost my
Leon is getting larger.
Larger. Oh, man, I want to watch the movie. No, I want to watch the movie. God damn it. Yes, and by the way, that is Anima knows she is the love of my life. That Polly is when he started the whole backdoor thing, and Kyle Zax, the guy you know as Zax, and Six took off with it and started like hashtagging it and made it a thing, and it's why it's a thing now. There was a time where I was just like, please let this end, please. Oh my god. Oh my god. One more week and it'll never come back again. I'll never hear this shit.
Yeah,
Then I
right.
realized it's permanent. It's done. Then I just went, fuck it. Just accept it and embrace it. And that's what I did. I embraced it. Fuck it. I can embrace being gay. I once told a guy, I said, if it weren't for all the penis stuff and anus stuff, I'd totally be gay because I like hanging out with other guys and talking with guys. It's just that once you got to start touching and stuff, I'm out. I'll have like a tag team. All right. Sitting in for me tonight for sex is Dominic. Tag me in. And then I'd ask him later, how was I? Oh, you were great.
Wow.
That's tag team gaying.
Oh my.
That's right. Gaying is a verb now.
You know what? I think I've convinced myself to watch Airplane again.
I'm totally want to watch it today. I'm gonna, because just thinking about Johnny just fucking slays me. He's so fucking funny.
Oh wow.
My god.
Tell me again how it definitely isn't the Abrams that's J.J. Abrams Entertainment hook in. It's that he won't make any money off this, right? I could go see it and feel okay because I was ready to boycott it.
Yeah. It's a guy by the name of Jim Abrams. And the thing is that
no relation to JJ.
No, first of all, that last name spelled different, and he had a sick child in the middle of all of this around the time that they were doing some of their movies.
That lines up.
He had a sick child, and I think his son came down with a disease that he eventually had to step back from, and the Zuckers continued on. I don't know if he still continued, if Abrams still continued to make movies with them after that, but the last I heard, he was trying to take care of his son.
That's terrible, but at least
he is still alive.
Father.
He is still alive.
Yeah,
he passed that most important of tests. He walked away from everything to be a good father. You know, hats off to him.
Well, look, this guy, Jim Abrams, gave us Airplane Top Secret with Val Kilmer, gave us Police Squad, which became The Naked Gun. He gave us Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2. One of the best Rambo spinoffs and Top Gun spinoffs I've ever seen. Fucking good shit. Let's see what else. Because wasn't he involved with Kentucky Fried Movie too? Yes.
Yeah.
There it is. He wrote the Kentucky Fried Movie. If you guys have never seen that, you've got to watch that movie. That was
for as much of a script that movie has, right?
Oh, the Brown 25 segment is just, it gets
directed by John Landis, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, and George Lazenby rides again as Bond. They don't say it, but he's Bond. It's great.
But look at some of the cast you got there. You've got Bill Bixby
Williams.
You've got Evan C. Kim, who's a comedian, really funny dude. Let's see, Marilyn Joy, and oh my god, who else?
Belzer.
In that, Tim? Belzer's in there. Who I think is a dickhead, but he's good in it.
Is he Henry Winkler's cousin? Was Richard Belzer cousin to Henry Winkler?
Oh, I've never.
First of all, when I say that, the thing that comes to mind is they kind of look alike. Like once you de-glasses, you know, and they're the same size, and I think that they might be. That's a rumor.
You know, I got to tell you, strangest friendship I've ever heard of is Henry Winkler and Sly Stallone. They're apparently very good friends.
They could go.
Well, they're in the Lords of Flatbush.
Yep,
it's a great movie with Michael Pare as well, right?
Yeah, Michael Pare. Originally had Richard Gere in it. So Richard Gere got some grease and sauce on Stallone's car seat and on his clothes, his costume, and he told the producers, "It's Gere or me."
You got sauce on my chinchilla. And I'm going to think of something about a gerbil to say about you.
Jeez.
Winkler is a cousin to Richard Belzer.
Wow.
I told you. Wow. Every once
No,
in
I
a
told
while, like
I just said I was going to confirm it for
Yeah.
you. Don't act like
Yeah.
Well, I fucking told you doubted me. I told you I was
No,
going to
no. I
You
didn't.
said,
I didn't say
isn't
it like
he?
you doubted
Isn't he?
me.
Fuck
I
you.
doubted.
Fuck you,
I
Teague.
doubted whether I remembered it correctly. I will
Eat
say
shit,
this: when,
Teague.
the first time I heard that, the first thing that came to mind is they do sort of look a lot alike. They do.
Belzer is one of those guys that I didn't like him because of something he said about soldiers once on
it's unfortunate.
the non-PC show that Bill Maher did, Politically Incorrect.
Oh,
And he said something about soldiers being basically morons.
Wow.
And I'm like, dude, I got more college than you. Go fuck yourself. God damn.
I enjoyed his
Fucking assholes like
portrayal
him.
I enjoyed his portrayal of an elite New York City detective on a SVU unit. I thought that was really good. What can I tell you?
No, he's
It's too
great as
bad
the
he was a
paranoid conspiracy theorist on the show. Look, he's
Yeah,
a
he's
good
good.
actor. I enjoyed him on the show, but in real life, I wouldn't fucking piss on him to put him out of if he was set on fire. Fuck him.
I guess the next thing that comes to mind is Cindy Williams, who by extension through Fonzie kind of probably knew Bells well too. I mean,
And he got what he
she's-
deserved from that pro wrestler. What is his name? Bolia? Bolia?
Someone
What's his
did
name?
toss him around a little,
Talking
didn't they?
about Hulk Hogan?
Fucking donked him on his fucking neck.
Yeah,
Could have killed him.
true. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
You know,
Bad
he's one
idea.
of those guys, just like what's his name? The reporter, journalist from 2020.
Chris Rome. No, you thinking
big
of
mustache,
Are you thinking of Jim?
famous
Yeah,
for
are you thinking of
mustache.
John Stossel?
No, big fucking Magnum PI mustache.
Bigger than that one?
Jewish and Hispanic mix.
We have a super chat.
Yeah, Gerardo.
You said it, John. What's his name?
Geraldo Rivera.
Geraldo.
Oh.
Geraldo and Belzer are the two who got physically slammed by wrestlers for suggesting they're fake. And they're not fake. They're performance. They're actors. But everything they do physically, they fucking do.
Mm-hmm.
And they get hurt doing the wrestling. What
Jim
is it?
Ro-
Our
Jim Rome of
TNZ says,
ESPN.
great stream, lads. Solid prisoner casting choices. Got to run. Chuck Norris was in all the Star
Hey.
Wars films. He played the Force.
Yeah. TNZ. That might be some of the same.
You got to come back, dude. I like this guy. I like the cut of your jib, mister.
TNZ, thanks for coming by.
Oh, geez, dude. You are great. $5. We got to get him a nice video.
I
on
don't know.
that.
TNZ says, great stream, lads. Solid prisoner casting choices. Got to run. Chuck Norris was in all the Star Wars films. He played
Here
the
you go.
Force. Cheers.
Here's one for you.
You pompous, stuck-up, snot-nosed, English, giant, twerp, scumbag, fuckface, dickhead, asshole.
I love
Why do
where his
people
eyes go. Every time he says a new insult, he's looking at something.
Well, I need to go, so I will see you
All right,
guys.
John. I'll see you later,
All
buddy.
right,
We got
John.
to
Hey, John.
enough too.
Why people who like the Critical Drinker also like me, I'll take it, but don't know. I'll take it, though. Thanks, guys. I appreciate all of them.
I knew he was a funny guy way, way back before Airplane, because there was an outtake of him, and they were doing a scene, and a jet went over him. He's got a gun in his hand. And the jet flies over, ruining the scene, ruining the scene. And he turns with the blank gun and starts shooting at the airplane in the air for ruining the scene. It was funny. Just stayed in character. It was great. Oh my God. Anyway, thanks for being here, man. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Did I miss anybody that joined us? Because I got to look at the private chat.
Yes, there are new people in the list, but we didn't talk about Cavill.
Henry Cavill?
Reaction.
Okay, real quick. The rumor is Henry Cavill is cast as Wolverine in the upcoming Wolverine and Deadpool film.
What?
There you go.
The rumor. Now, still Abdul when I tagged him on Twitter, said that he doesn't put any credence to it. But I talked to Matt McGloin, and he seems to think that there's something to it from Cosmic Book News. He's the one who shared it out first. Because I don't read anything from Giant Freaking Robot. I think they're fucking idiots over there. It's not like they don't like get the square peg in the square hole every once in a while. I know they do, but I think they make up shit. Them and We Got This Covered are just phony.
Yeah, you never know. Like it's shots in the dark. Anonymous, unsourced, unverified stories. They'll buy. If I wrote a story and called them up, they would just buy it. They would just buy it.
I don't know if it's true. I'm not going to say I doubt it. I just simply don't know if it's true. I know that he's been offered, but we don't know what it is. I know the suggestion was the anti-Thor character of Hercules. That's the one I was hearing.
Yeah.
But then this, post popped up from Cosmic Book News, and I love Matt McGloin. I love those guys. I love him, John Trent, all those guys. I think they're great dudes. They do their due diligence. There has to be something with this for Matt McGloin to have run with it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's true. We'll find out. The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Wolverine. Look, you are wasting Henry Cavill if he's just a variant.
Yep.
That's why I call bullshit on that. That if that is all it is, then it's a bullshit story. There's no fucking way Henry Cavill would do that.
Look,
Henry Cavill is looking for a meaty role.
Yeah. If you're gonna have somebody of his talent, as Gary's trying to say, you should have made him Wonder Man. He should have been Wonder Man. But if you're going to waste him as a variant, then it's a waste. It's a complete waste.
Complete waste of his talent and his star power. So, but I will tell you that if he's Hercules versus Thor, that'd be awesome. If he is now, when they use the word variant, well, technically Hugh Jackman is a variant too. So if we're approaching it from that angle, that Hugh Jackman is a variant, then potentially he could be the new Wolverine. And if that is the case, I'd be all for it. I think that he's got the physique for it, man. Jesus. Like I really think that he would put Chris Hemsworth and Arnold Schwarzenegger to their fucking to the mat with bodybuilding. He's just
let's bring the Reacher guy in as Wolverine.
He's big too physically. Oh my God, he's the other guy that's right up there with Arnold.
I don't think Warner Brothers wants to let him go.
What I love about him is he does what he does, and he's in Hollywood, and he's a devout Christian. Not one of those soft Christians. Like they talk about Chris Pratt being a Christian. I said, well, he believes, but he's not devout. Richardson is devout in his faith.
Yeah, he has a channel in which he posts videos about.
There's a lot of things that are gay about me, Tim. A lot of things.
Now, Richardson, I prefer to see him as Mr. Sinister. He has the size.
I would really like to be somebody better as a character. I didn't really think much of Mr. Sinister as a character.
I think physically he's a big guy.
It's just me hoping.
He is a big guy. He is a big guy. Some have been saying Batman. I don't know. Physically, he could be a very good Batman, but I don't think he has.
No, they're saying Marvel though.
Oh, sorry.
He is He-Man. He is He-Man.
Hulk Reacher. That guy is hulking.
Well, he will be Marvel's. He'll be Marvel's version of He-Man, which is also known as Heracles.
Can I ask Keith real quick? Do you want a sequel to the Matt Reeves Batman, or are you okay just walking away from that one?
I think Matt Reeves should
we're done.
Call it good, because look, they keep delaying. This is
Penguin is the only thing good that came from that.
And even then, they keep delaying. They keep finding reasons to delay. This is done. It should be.
I don't think it has money behind it, is what it is. I think people are reluctant to invest in a movie that's going to be so long you can't get enough screening times in. And then there's so much writing on the review because, you have your Batman crowd, but you can siphon that off at 4 hours.
Yeah. Look, if you're not going to make an attempt to actually make a good version of Batman.
Deleted
If all you're going
Knockdown.
to do is do remakes of other movies and just put a Batman skin over it, then you're done. And given the amount of money that you're ending up spending and everything, why even waste? I think it's just done, and they're slow walking it. Because they're not acting like they really want to have a Batman sequel, to be honest. If this was really a priority, this thing would be in production already. It isn't.
Where's Matt Reeves' mind on this, do you think? Do you think Matt Reeves thinks he can resurrect this, or is it that he doesn't want to be unattached to any project? So he'll hold on to Batman while he shops himself? That's why sometimes it flares up a little?
Let me put it to you this way. People keep mistaking the fact that that I can talk rationally about Matt Reeves as if I'm a fan. I will say this. This dude got away with convincing a whole lot of people that he could throw away the Batman script that he had gotten from a great actor from Ben Affleck.
Yeah. All right, I prefer that.
And do something that was akin to the comics. And he threw away that script. He delayed production so that he could write his own. And what he gave us was his take. And again, I've heard from people who have read that script that Ben Affleck wrote. It completely makes what we got in The Batman with Robert Pattinson look like a junior high school play. His script, his plot is something by someone who actually is a Batman fan of the comics. And
I believe he understands the character. Yeah, absolutely.
He had hopes of playing him way back when he did Mallrats, and Kevin Smith said something to him about it.
Some more natural.
Here's the one that was just brought up.
Honestly,
that's Richardson and Cavill together in the new film Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Mm-hmm. One of the people that was in that group, it was a gentleman by the name of Christopher Lee. He was one of the commanders.
Oh wow! He's also cousin as Saruman.
He's also second cousin to Ian Fleming.
Yep,
that is cool.
It's either second cousin or cousin twice removed. I forget which one it is.
I think it's second cousin. I think it's second.
Today is the day of naming people as cousins, right? Ray Fiennes and Joseph Fiennes, are they cousins or brothers?
They're brothers.
Okay.
Every big moment in the Batman is undermined. Yeah.
Yes.
My favorite moment in the film is an absolute great joke. And this is how stupid he is. When he wrote this scene, he had no idea he wrote a joke. Is when Batman is knocked out after the explosion, and they have him in the jail cell, and for some reason haven't unmasked him. And he wakes up, and then he gets up next to Gordon. Gordon, is played by a brilliant fucking actor. Got his mustache, and he's looking fucking Gordon-y. And Batman looks over and he sees that cop that he knocked the shit out of earlier at Penguin's Club. He says, "Who's the guy with the mustache and the broken nose?" And Gordon turns to look, and a moment later, he punches fucking Gordon in the face, right in the nose. Broke his nose because he got a mustache and broke his nose. I'm just like, I laughed in the theater when he did that. I'm like, that's a punch line. Get it?
Yes.
Punch line.
That movie.
All that could have been better is it said "pow" on screen when he did it, right?
Yeah.
If you've never seen it, Corridor Crew's version of the Batman, where they replace everybody with Batman 66. Have you ever seen it?
No, I haven't seen it. When you were studying,
by the way,
you were talking
our Muslim uncle is here.
Hey.
Oh, hello, buddy. How you doing?
Hey, our Muslim uncle. Awesome. I'm trying to find it.
He's a pisser in group chat. I love Muslim uncle.
Yeah, read by nature. The movie's dumb. It's really what I call Dumb 7 is really the alternate name to that movie. It's the movie 7 done with Batman characters.
Absolutely a horrendous retelling of the movie 7.
I can turn around. I can destroy the defenses of the movie very easily too. It's like, well, at least he's a detective, and the response I always just have is, Let me say this. Let's take the same exact movie as Batman and Robin, but for 10 minutes they look through binoculars and perv on like Catwoman from a distance. Is that now a good Batman movie? And they're like, all right, you're right. Yeah. I'm like,
So
make
we're
it
probably
2
gonna have
hours
to
longer.
remove this later. We got to end the show here, so I want to show this real quick. So here you go. Quarter Cruise, the Batman.
I'm preferring this.
Yeah.
That part of the movie really messed it up. That was right in the middle that he got that much damage from machine guns. And you're like, there's no way he's going to get hurt in this movie. He'll be fine. I liked the Batmobile kind of, but I didn't know what to make of that chase. I didn't really like it.
I prefer this. I do.
Yeah, I do. This is much better. You know what? I could watch. Can we get a 4-hour rendered version? Just rotoscope in Adam West and just like take
All I
out
gotta
all the
say
dialogue.
is
Like you did
Quarter Crew is one of my favorite channels. I
Bye,
love it when they
Penny.
do science shit, not just the visual effects, but they get into science. And I just fell in love with that channel. And those idiots that work on that channel, they're brilliant idiots. I love them.
Connie Cleary's in the house.
Hey, Connie.
Connie, hey, and she just became a new member. What's up, Connie?
Hello.
Thank you.
Shinatsky.
Welcome.
They are bad detectives in this movie. The two smart
Yeah, they're terrible. 2 hours you go into the movie until the two of them actually start talking about evidence.
Yes.
Dude, but
And they
but
get
that
it
is-
wrong. They get completely wrong, and their Spanish is terrible.
Hear me out. Hear me out. That is good in the movie, in the context, because that explains how crime is so rampant in Gotham.
Yeah, because their Spanish is so bad. I do want to show this one more time. This, of course, is the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. This is the group that Ian Fleming built. This is the team. And I love the fact you got fucking Henry Cavill and Richardson in this. I mean, two fucking massive dudes doing action scenes. This is going to be fucking awesome, dude.
We should go as a group and see it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, you know, as I say, this is so important to know when you're doing streaming.
It's a hell of a thing, killing a man.
Okay.
My second,
And I think it is so fantastic.
Yeah.
Unforgiven, my second favorite movie to take place on the 4th of July after Independence Day.
And David Peoples wrote it.
Wow.
He's the co-writer of Blade Runner. So, but anyway, we got to get going, guys. It is the end of the show. Oh, or let's let Brian say it, because he always says it best.
That's it. Show's over.
There we go.
I'm on in 15 minutes. Check out my show.
Yeah, Teague's got a show to do. What are we talking about today, Teague? Oh, let me
Today we're
guess,
gonna
Star
talk
Trek.
Well, I mean, Up the Long Ladder will be considered because St. Patrick's Day weekend, so we'll deal with the Space
St.
Irish in that
Patrick's Day.
TNG episode. That's right. It's St. Patrick's Day. We'll be talking about Lucky Nelson Peltz chasing his Disney
Bagara.
another offensive Irish stereotypes. I'm allowed
Another
to do because
horrible
I'm
Irishman
Irish.
is Chief. What's his name on Batman? Chief O'Hara.
O'Hara. He's a
Jason
TV only
Bagara.
character, right, Keith?
Yeah.
He only exists on the TV show. Yeah. We
Yeah.
don't have to worry. We don't see him ever again. Do we? Oh, he's in 89.
His Irish is as good as James Doohan's Scottish.
It's worse. So much worse.
And I have a Scottish friend who says he sounds like a Paki.
That's As true as it is, maybe in 200 years, Scottish people will sound like that the way French people will sound like Picard.
Like they're
that's
from
that
Pakistan,
going
right?
for it. We
I would
haven't
like
got
to
there
thank
yet,
the
maybe
American
we'll have to.
Society of Magical Brothers. And
I
Oh
heard
my
that it's really
God,
bad. I
I
heard
want
it's
to go
really,
see
really
it.
bad.
I think
I
my
know, I
channel
heard
members
that too.
want me to see it. I've been watching interviews with the director, David Allen
I've
Greer.
not seen
attacked
Polly's
that
review
director.
yet, but I'm sure
Oh,
that Polly's
I
review
saw it.
is going to be pretty thorough.
At
You saw it
Sundance,
already, Martin?
Yeah, the out of the theater review. Oh, he
What did he
bashed that
say?
one.
ooh,
Oh,
I'm
did
not
he?
surprised.
All right, because I haven't watched it yet. I'm getting ready to watch it after the show. So I was curious what Polly thought of it. That means every single review I've seen so far is bashing it as racist bullshit.
David Allen Greer went insane at the Sundance Film Festival and called the director Black Stalin, and it was like they tried to play it off like a joke. But David Allen Greer, watch the interview. He goes, the director goes, it's so great that everyone got to work for me because I'm such a great guy and I run a well-oiled machine. And there's a couple of jokes, and David Allen Greer just says out of nowhere, "You ever been on what you would call a mutinous battleship?" And then like they're trying to make more jokes, and David Allen Greer just goes, My nickname for you on set was Black Stalin.
Wow.
So he was heavily, and he hasn't done any. You will not find him on any more publicity. He was, I think, hoodwinked, and then he said that scenes he was promised were cut, jokes he was promised were cut, a title that he was signed under was cut, and he basically was calling the guy out as a fraud. And the guy was like, I have a 2-minute joke, but what we found out was it was a really important story for everyone. And David Allen Greer was like, oh, really? Why don't you tell him what the original title was? He goes, well, no, the title was changed for a reason. It's like, go ahead, tell them. Go ahead, just goading him, baiting him angrily. Yeah, it's something to say.
I'll have to check it out. I'm looking at it right now. It's 4 different interviews with him. I'm going to check out, see which one he does it in. So, but anyway, we are out of here, guys. I hope everybody has a wonderful Friday. Don't forget, you've got Teague coming on. You've got Friday Night Tights and Friday Night Frolics with Doomcock.
Yeah.
Because, as I say, there's a lot of cock out there. Watch your Doomcock.
Oh my God, Keith's trying to escape from the screen.
He's in a phantom zone. Keith, we'll get you out.
Help me. He's white now. Look at his hands. He's white.
Oh my God, why?
Put those hands back up. You look white. Greatest joke ever was in Blazing Saddles when they act like they're wiping his hands off and shows his palms. He goes, see, now he's white. See?
Please.
Out of here. Oh, Bateman girl snuck in the last minute. Lady V Element.